So this right here is a 1,000-pound Hallmaster hydraulic table cart. If you don't know what that means, it pretty much means it's a table on a cart that can have a scissor style lift that can lift up to about 1,000 pounds. All right, so there is another version of this, or a lower tier or lesser respective tier of this, which is the 500-pound model, and that one is also sold at Harbor Freight, but that one also costs a little bit less. Okay, this one is about $369, and both of these are sold at Harbor Freight. And if this looks familiar, it's mainly because there are other models or copies of this, or maybe this one is the copy of the OG, who knows, but there are other carts that are pretty much exactly the same thing as this, just under a different name, which are sold at other places. Just to give you an example, the one that's sold at Northern Tool is called the Ironton 1,000-pound hydraulic table cart, and it's exactly the same. The lifting height's the same, the size is the same, capacity. If you look at it in detail, it's pretty much exactly the same thing. So that's not the only one, but like I said, there's a lot of them, so just keep that in mind. But this one and that one is only rated to lift up to about 34.5 inches. All right, so this one, like I said, I picked up at Harbor Freight mainly because of a lot of the heavy lifting of stuff that we have to do that needs to be installed either on walls or in racks or whatever it is. And sure, it's not that troublesome to lift something that's maybe 100 pounds, but then you are trying to lift something, let's say 300 pounds or 400 pounds by yourself, and lift it maybe shoulder height and install it with two hands. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. So this one is a real lifesaver, okay? And if you really value your health and your back, I would definitely say the investment in this is 100% worth the money. So let's go take a look at the quick specs. So this is the heavy-duty hydraulic cart table, which is designed to handle big loads. Its easily positioned table surface allows you to raise your workpiece up to 3.5 inches with foot pedal action. It features a hand lever to safely lower your items and two locking swivel casters to ensure stability once the table cart is shifted into position. It features a foot-operated hydraulic pedal that keeps your hands free, a hydraulic or hand lever for easy controlled hydraulic release, heavy-duty oil-resistant non-slip rubber mat, two locking casters, all steel construction. The product height is about 38 inches. The product weight of the entire assembly is about 161 pounds. The working capacity is 1,000 pounds. The width of the platform is 20 inches. Caster sizes are 5 inches. The lift height minimum, which means, you know, pretty much what the sitting height is for the platform, is 11 inches. The product length is 37 inches, and the platform width is 32 inches. And as most tools that's sold at Harbor Freight, this is backed by a warranty that warranties materials or defects in materials and workmanship for up to 90 days from the date of purchase. So this right here is obviously the table cart. You've already seen it go up and down, so don't need to point too many things out about that. But I will point out the casters here, okay? So these casters here are pretty much solid plastic. As you can see here, it's solid plastic all the way inside the wheel, the rim, and including the wheel here, okay? The back ones, the two on the back here, swivel. as you just saw right there, and the ones in the front are actually locked or fixed so that they only move forwards and backwards, okay? There is a little brake on here that you would press down with your foot, right? That activates this lever to come down on the wheel, so it helps prevent movement, but it's not a 100% solid piece. What I mean by that is that the way that this works is that this is a little slightly rubberized plastic piece that fits on top of this lever that locks down. So if you're going to use this a lot, this piece will probably wear out. I don't think they sell replacement pieces, but I'm sure you could figure something like that out, okay? So it's not a super positive, secure lock, but you know, it's definitely better than nothing, okay? When you do get this cart, you do have to assemble one piece, which is this handle assembly here, and you have to attach it to this handle assembly lever back here. There are 2 bolts on each side, 2 here and 2 there, so it's pretty straightforward, but I will tell you, to get a nut or a wrench somewhere in here can get a little bit tricky, okay? So this handle does fold down. If you press this bar here, you press the bar and it will fold down this way, right? It can lay flat, obviously with it sticking up a little bit, but it will not go back this way. So you cannot fold it back towards you. That is fixable if you do want to drill out additional holes to allow it to pivot a little bit more. You can do that. I just did not do that because I don't want to have any type of, let's call it, weakening the material around there, especially since, you know, it's that part is going to be pretty soft compared to this table, but I did see that it is possible, okay? So the other thing to point out on here, let me lift it up a little bit real quick, is you use the foot pedal to lift it here, and it's pretty simple. You do have to put the foot pedal into the lever here and then screw it into place. So sorry about that, it's probably 2 assembly points. And if you take it slowly and just let it recover, the hydraulic fluid recover and go a little bit slowly, you can see each pedal lever action does raise it a good bit. If you're doing it quickly, as you saw me do it a little bit earlier, it will take you somewhere between 34 to 36 foot pumps to push it all the way up. But if you just take your time a little bit, right, and let the hydraulic fluid recover before you put force on the foot lever, it does go up pretty well, right? It's not a quick jack, but it definitely works pretty fast, okay? The thing I wanted to point out on here is that, as you would imagine from most things that you get at Harbor Freight, is that there are welds that aren't necessarily perfect. They're not going to win any beauty contests, right? But you know, they're still solid and they will get the job done, right? So as you can see here, this is the platform. It looks like it's pretty much rolled over here, right? So it's kind of in a way pressed, and these joints right here are welded, right? So there's a weld here, weld here, weld here, there's a weld here, weld here, weld there, right? So obviously, if you wanted this to be super ultra ultimate heavy duty, right, this entire thing could be welded, but you know, they didn't do that, and they welded maybe about 2 or 3 inches along the lines to do that. And that's pretty typical, as you would expect. It definitely takes a lot less material and a lot less effort to do that. And in some places, to allow just a little bit of flex, they do that on purpose, but you know, I'm not saying that's what they did here, okay? The other thing to point out, as you can see on here, is I have not used this a ton, and somehow, some reason, stickers are already falling off, all that kind of fun stuff. So, you know, there are things you do need to worry about on there, okay? So, let me move this around here and you can see some of the welds on the front. Right? So if you look at it right here, you can see this part here is also welded. Obviously not going to win any beauty contests, right? Welds here, welds here. This material back here is pretty solid. I can't imagine this tool having any type of failure unless you overloaded it by, let's say, 2,000 pounds, right? I do feel like I've raised more than 1,000 pounds on this just by raising about 3 of these batteries, and that may be close to about its typical maybe peak, maybe around 1,100 or whatnot, but you know, it did seem to work. I don't have any doubt that it could do more than that, but I'm probably pretty sure you shouldn't, just in case, you know, something like that may fail and have catastrophic failure, right? So like I said, you could clean all these welds up by, you know, grinding it all down and, you know, repainting it and all that stuff. But, you know, we got this for roughly a pretty good deal. Let's say 360, 370 minus 20% off of that or whatnot. So not too bad, okay? So it's all pretty solid as you would imagine here, nothing to see. This rubber mat does come with it. And as you would imagine, this rubber mat is definitely better to have something than not to have, but I will say this rubber mat is pretty thin and it does feel pretty cheap, and even just moving this battery around here a little bit, you can see tears in it, right? So I would imagine you will definitely get that one replaced pretty quick. All right, so this thing is loaded up, and you want to treat this pretty much like a jack as you were jacking up your car. Anytime the jack is in position and lifting some heavy weight, there's a chance, obviously, that the hydraulic system could fail and then come down. So don't put your hand anywhere near her like I'm doing right now. But instead, what I'm going to do is just as a temporary safety case or safety base is just put this tubafo right here, right? Such that even if it were to have a catastrophic failure, it may either hold it up or have just enough time to remove my hand, okay? So, like I said, don't do like this, like I'm doing right now, but I do want to point out, this is the hydraulic cylinder here. It doesn't look like the beefiest or most strongest or well-machined item, as you expect, just getting the run-of-the-mill stuff at Harbor Freight, but it is pretty solid, as you can see right there. On mine, when I pulled it out of the box, there was no hydraulic fluid leakage or any of that, as you would see on the bottom of the box, but there is a fill port right there, and they do recommend you bleed the hydraulic system right when you get it. Obviously for safety and full functionality measures, you do want to bleed that. And what you want to do when you buy this is you want to buy maybe an extra quart or whatnot of hydraulic fluid and just start putting it in there, filling it up, bleeding it out fully before you start utilizing it to make sure you pretty much get best performance out of it. All right. And speaking about bleeding the hydraulic system, there are instructions right there that tells you pretty much unscrew it, pump it all the way up, fill it up, keep pressing on it, loosen it, all that kind of fun stuff. So the instructions are printed right here on the sticker. And as you can see here, this right here is also the bar that keeps the hydraulic jack into place, and the spring that's there to help put that resistance on it where needed, okay? The Scott welds there, welds here, welds there, and like I said, the welds aren't perfect. I'm not gonna win in the beauty contest, but they are right there, and you can see I don't think it's gonna have any type of failure anytime soon, right? So just moving this here just a little bit real quick, you can see welds back here, right? And then also welds back there, and you can see right there is the plastic style caster, it looks like, that's on a rolling track inside of this U-shaped channel there. That's how that really works. And when you press down on it, the hydraulic piston moves this, and then the scissor actually kind of rolls this cart that way, rolls the wheels that way, therefore pushing the table up, okay? And as you can see, I don't think you're gonna have too many issues there. The release handle lever, you will see right here when you press it, keep your eyes right there. You see that? So when you press the release handle, it's a cable actuated functioning thing that kind of goes all the way through here and pulls that lever back right there, and you can get it to go down just a little bit, right? Watch this. Right, so it is almost, I want to say, variable speed or very well controlled release, and that is pretty smooth. Obviously, if you're in a rush, you're not going to deal with all that, but it does work pretty well. So this is the inside view of it. You can obviously see labels and warning stickers and bleeding information obviously pointed out here again. And this right here is the lever for the release, right? So check this out. You can do very well controlled again, right? Or you can just squeeze it all the way and it goes down pretty quick. There is also a little warning label, a sticker here, how to adjust it in case you need to. Because it's cable actuated, you can actually adjust it really quick. But just know when you're working on that, you probably either want to pull it over on its side or definitely just lift the table all the way up with put a jack or something support there so that it can't come back down on you. Yeah, so that right there is a hydraulic table cart in a nutshell. It's, it's pretty simple, pretty well, easily and self-explanatory. It's a cart with wheels that has a hydraulic jack that you can foot actuate, right, to go up and or down, okay? So the biggest limitation I've seen with this is that when it sits down completely all the way to the ground, the material needs to be somewhere close to about 11 inches off the ground already so you can get it onto here, right? Because if you go down here, watch, the minimum height that needs to be is you're gonna need to get at least up to here. Right, so that's been a challenge, especially trying to get like this 300-pound battery up on here, right? But with assistance of leverage or other even like jacks or whatnot, you can definitely get it on here. But like I said, that's one limitation. The second limitation is the maximum height it can go is about 34.5, okay? So I have seen other table carts that can go more than that, maybe into the 50s or whatnot, but those were obviously closer to like $700 or even $800, so obviously didn't go with that. So just know that if you're going to get this, you're going to have to go somewhere between 11 to 34 inches, okay? Which is perfectly fine if you're working out of like a full-size truck bed or something like that, right? But if you need to go, let's just say shoulder height or even higher than that for like top racks or whatnot, that could be a problem, okay? So other than that, those are the other real issues I ran into. Actually, no, there's one more issue I ran into. So in order to get it to a higher height, what I did was stack large pieces of, scrap LVL or 2x8s or 2x10s or whatnot on here. And I almost forgot, or I did forget technically, it was sticking out back here, and because of the shape of the handle, it was preventing it from going up further, okay? So there are hacks to, be able to lift it to a higher height just by stacking stack blocks under it. But, because of this, it's a limitation. So if you are going to use stacking blocks, make sure it's not exceeding the past this platform, because, you obviously can't do anything about that. That's the one way I found out that this handle does not fold backwards without modification. So, if you want to modify it, go do so, but I definitely did not decide to do that. So, like I said, it's somewhere around $369, minus 20% or whatnot if you get it on sale, those types of things. I think it's definitely worth the money, especially if you do a lot of working by yourself, and especially if you work with heavy items that you need to put to a certain height, right? So let's just say 300, 400, 500-pound batteries. Yeah, you probably need some mechanical help for that. Good investment for your back and your health, okay? So, like I said, hope the video helped you guys. If any questions, let us know. Otherwise, have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time.